How y'all doing? This is Brittany and I'm back with Echoes in the Ink, and we're going to do another wrap-up video today, a February wrap-up. So this is my second wrap-up and I'm super excited to tell you about all the books I read in February. So let's just get into it. Okay, the first book I read in February was a thriller, and it's called First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. This book had the potential to be a wonderful, wonderful thriller. Unfortunately, it kind of fell flat for me, but let's talk about what it's about. So the blurb says that Evie Porter has everything a nice Southern girl could want: a doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence, a tight group of friends. Only one catch: Evie Porter doesn't exist. The identity comes first: Evie Porter. Once she's given a name and location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and the people in it. Then, the mark: Ryan Sumner. The last piece of the puzzle is the job. Evie isn't privy to Mr. Smith's real identity, but she knows this job isn't like the others. Ryan has gotten under her skin, and she's starting to envision a different sort of life for herself. But Evie can't make any mistakes, especially after what happened last time. Evie Porter must stay one step ahead of her past while making sure there's still a future in front of her. The stakes couldn't be higher, but then Evie has always liked a challenge. So this blurb is excellent. I think a lot of people who pick this up would be like, ooh, Evie Porter doesn't exist, but she's there. I want to know more. And like I said, the story started off, the plot, the story, very smooth. I actually really enjoyed the writing style. I do remember thinking, this is a really, really good, like, confusing, you know, obviously she's kind of like a spy for hire, but I don't even want to say that. Spy just isn't. She is a purveyor of doing whatever Mr. Smith needs to do. Kind of like, you know, bad Charlie's Angels, I guess. But she does all kinds of things, and the narration does flip back and forth through time, so you do kind of get a kind of a backline story of what happened in her past and how she became who she is as the story progresses. However, the ending, without, you know, giving things away, just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and not in a good way. But it was a fun novel. But I gave this a 3 out of 5, and I don't really think, we'll see what other books the author comes up with that I run across, and see if I like it. The next book I read for the month of February, it was kind of a fun one. So I am a total nerd. I love Hocus Pocus. I was, I think, 6 when that movie came out, and it was the end all be all of coolness. I just thought they were so cool. So I picked up on sale the Hocus Pocus spell book, and this is written by the Disney Fun book, but I think the writer was Eric Gurin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But anyways, this book is very cute. It was a fast flip through read for me. I mean, it does have a lot of, you know, spells and just narration of the 3 characters. Like, they have footnotes in here. It's just so cute. It's just so well done. And I really enjoyed reading it. However, the biggest downer for this novel for me was that it didn't have the main spells that were in the movie. It's different in here. It's not the exact same, and that was a big downer. I don't know, maybe it was a legal thing. I'm not sure. I have no idea. That's complete speculation, but it would have been better had it been a little truer to the movie. But I gave this 3 out of 5 because it was a fun time. Then I decided I wanted to do, in that, you know, vein of witchiness, I wanted to pick up a book that a lot of people had discussed and previously, and they really enjoyed. It's a series. I don't know if it's YA or not. I guess I could have looked that up before I started filming, but no, let's just go the lazy route. Anyways, it is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco, and this was really great. Let me read the blurb to you before I get into it. 2 sisters one brutal murder, a quest for vengeance that will unleash hell itself, an intoxicating romance. So that's cool. Emilia and her twin sister Vittoria are Strega. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Witches who live secretly among humans, avoiding notice and persecution. One night, Vittoria misses dinner service at the family's renowned estate in Sicily. Emilia soon finds the body of her beloved twin desecrated beyond belief. Devastated, Emilia sets out to find her sister's killer and to seek vengeance at any cost, even if it means using dark magic that's been long forbidden. Then Emilia meets Wrath, one of the wicked, who are the princes of hell she has been warned against in tales since she was a child. Wrath claims to be on Emilia's side, tasked by his master with solving the murders of the women, tasked by his master with solving a series of women's murders on the island. But when it comes to the wicked, nothing is as it seems. And this is really cool. I do believe that Strega is a branch of like Italian witchcraft. So I do feel that this novel does pull from, you know, kind of real practices to an extent. The whole demons, I'm not sure how that falls into play. I don't really know if that's with it, so I don't know how much. I just know it is very inspired by it, and it pulls from it a little bit here. But it's a whodunit with like a prince of hell and, you know, some slow burn tint romance, and I liked this. I thought it was unique how it was pulling from Christian and you know, for lack of a better word, earth-based religions, pagan religions, and it kind of meshed them together in a really cool way. And it was a love story, and I love those. I love romantasy, fantasy romance. So yes, this had a lot of good points to it. I really did enjoy the main character. She was very stubborn, and it went to a place I didn't expect, which is, you know, like I've said in my other videos, is kind of, you know, awesome for me. I love when things, I'm just like, whoa. Just like all of us, you know, we're like, whoa, what just happened? And a turning point of a novel. So that was one for me in this. And then I because I loved it so much, 5 out of 5 on the last one and this one, which is the sequel, Kingdom of the Cursed. This takes all of the world building and the storytelling and just goes deeper, but it also kind of turns it on its head a bit in a really intriguing way. Something that I didn't expect definitely happened, and that was the plot point for most of this novel was dealing with the consequences of the first novel and getting a little more character development, and just, you know, you go to hell in this one and it's not how you think it'd be. They take those really weird environments and make them completely their own, where it's not like the hell you would think of in a Christian kind of a way, fire and brimstone. It's more like cities and aristocracy, particularly in this, you know, they have a hell aristocracy that is just unique in this novel, and I really thought that was very cool and a very unique perspective. So this one was 5 out of 5 again, and I would recommend this to anyone who wants something a little different, something a little more kind of evil. Not evil, like this is not about evil people, but it's got an evil environment and, you know, a setting. So I think that's unique, and we all love that. And that was my mood for the first half of February. So this one, and then I don't have it on me. I have it. I don't know where it is. Lost book. But I did read the third one, which is, I believe, called Kingdom of the Feared, and I will insert it here somewhere. But Kingdom of the Feared was the third and final installment of this series, and I did enjoy it. The last novel ended with a cliffhanger. By the way, the cliffhangers of all of these novels were very well done. where the novels end makes you automatically want to pick up the next one, and I just, we all love it when that's like that, unless it's like 2 o'clock in the morning and you should be sleeping because you have to work the next day, but, whatever. Sleep, schmeep. In the third one, we pick up where the big cliffhanger left off from the second novel, and Amelia is kind of learning about herself, and she is trying to figure out who she truly is and what that means in this new environment that she's found herself in. And I was extremely intrigued. The third novel was a lot more romance and, spiciness, and, that is awesome. And at one point in my life, that is what my reading geared me towards. Like, I was like, give me the spice. But now I do really enjoy the plot more. Like, the spice is great, but I honestly feel like I do want to know how the characters and the plot kind of fill in the romance, or bring the romance about. And I do think that the third novel was heavily into just wrapping a lot of those things up, and it did it very well, but it wasn't as an enjoyable read for me as the 2 previous novels, because it was just a wrap up of romance, and there was a lot of plot, and it was good, but it just, I don't know. I gave it a 4 out of 5. So, and then we took a deep dive into another romance fantasy book, Allie Hazelwood, Bride. I have read an Allie Hazelwood novel before, where pretty much it's geeky romance, and I love geeky romance, and that's always a good plot point for me. This one, however, was a fantasy romance. It is about a vampire bride, and the vampire is marrying a werewolf. And it's almost like, it's not almost, it really is like Mafia for werewolves and, vampires, and like this big old mafia battle that the werewolves and vampires have. They have separate, territories. They live in separate places. They're kind of mysterious to each other. They don't know each other's customs very well. That was all cool. Let me read the blurb to you. Misery Lark, gotta love the name Misery, daughter of a powerful vampire councilman, is an outcast. Her days of living anonymously among the humans are over. She has been called upon to uphold an alliance between the vampires and their mortal enemies, the Wares. Wares are ruthless and unpredictable, and their alpha, Lo Moreland, is no exception. He rules his pack with absolute authority, but not without justice or feeling. It's clear from the way he tracks Misery's every move that he doesn't trust her, only if he knew how right he was. Misery has her own reasons to agree to this marriage of convenience, reasons that have nothing to do with politics or alliances, and everything to do with the only thing she's ever cared about, and she is willing to do whatever it takes to get back what's hers. So, sounds intriguing. I was intrigued. Love, like I said, Miss Hazelwood's writing. Got into this, and it started out being really cool and kind of cheesy, but really cool. And then we get to the interactions between the 2 main characters, and I just wasn't into it. I just wasn't into it. Sorry. And then the whole knot situation, it's just too much for me. The interactions between the 2 main characters, and the chemistry just wasn't there for me. And then this whole knot thing happened, and I was just like, nah, I don't think so. I finished it because I wanted to know how it all ended, and it did end cool. But I honestly gave this a 2 out of 5 stars. And I know a lot of people liked it, so I hate to say that. It just wasn't for me. It was a great writing. It just was not for me. And then the last book I picked up I read in the month of February, is one that I have been waiting for a long time to read, and I finally had the time to sit down and read it. I knew I would get into it because all the people on YouTube that I love have recommended this. I am really into a fantasy phase right now, and that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This book is not what I expected, but at the same time, it's better, and that is really hard to find. This main character, his name is Darrow, or Darrow, I don't know if I'm saying it right. I say Darrow, whatever. Anyways, tomato, tomato. Anyways, he is very fleshed out and very, very developed. And you kind of, what he's going to decide at a point in the novel, you're just used to how he tries to be so good and still sometimes miserably fails. But this book is worth the read. It says, his wife taken, his people enslaved. Driven by a longing for justice and the memory of lost love, Darrow will stop at nothing to bring down his enemies, even if he must become one of them to do so. So, this novel is the first in a trilogy at the beginning, and then I think that there's more that play out in this world. I think there's like three more novels up the world. I haven't gotten to those yet. But in this novel, there's a caste system in this world, and it's all based on colors. And reds are at the very bottom, and golds are at the very top. If you just read this first part in the book, I honestly think you'll be sucked in. What's intriguing and unique to me, it's in a futuristic Earth. It's a futuristic novel where the Earth is still lived on, but and I mean human beings, have acquired the ability to cultivate and colonize other planets like Mars, the moon, and in our future, but in their distant past, the Golds rose up against a horrible government and, broke away from it, made their own rules, laws, where every single person was in a color caste system. Like I said, the reds were the lowest, the golds were the highest, or are the highest. In this caste system, like, doctors are, even with like law people or medical professionals, are yellow. There's all these different colors of what you do and who you are within this society. And they've got advanced technology, and they've got the ability to regenerate cells, and just all kinds of unique things that are almost magical, but they aren't, because in this world they're based in like the reality that we have developed this technology so that people can be their best selves, but they're still divided into a caste system that pretty much they have to stay in. And reds are the lowest of the low. They're the ones that have the least amount of resources. There's high reds and there's low reds, and we go on a journey with Darrow, who is a low red and didn't really know very much about any of these worlds, and that's kind of a part of the uniqueness of this story is seeing it from his perspective, because it would be like if you and I, an everyday person, was plucked up and dropped into the middle of political intrigue today, and we're given all these unique secrets of how our society really works, and we absolutely hated it and thought it was repugnant and evil, and decided we're going to do something about it. And that's what this novel is about, but it's set in a world completely different from our own. Excellent book, 6 out of 5 stars. Everybody who mentioned this book ever on YouTube, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And then I am continuing the second one in March. Please comment with any questions, concerns, recommendations. What have you been reading? I would love to know what, if you kind of disagreed or agreed with any of these reviews. I would love to know that. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!